Another year gone, lads, since we were last in this room, and you've managed 67 games so far for Heaton Stannington. And this season you started off on the 29th of July at home to West Auckland. 442 turned up to watch. 2 up, but it didn't end that way, did it?
No, it was a real welcome to Division 1, wasn't it? We obviously had a long time to prepare for it being the first game. We had obviously a big summer, which we had after the promotion. And yeah, after 15 minutes, we thought, it's quite easy this. But I mean, did we expect to take many points off West Auckland and stuff? Probably not. But yeah, we flew into a 2-goal lead. Obviously went out to 10 men. And the character that they showed in the second half was really, really good. Got the deserved point in the end. I think we learned a lot, even just on the first day of the season. We learned a lot about the lads and their spirit, and a lot of new lads there, yes. A lot of bedding in to do, yes. However, certainly positives to take from week number 1.
Yes, and a good crowd to start the season with.
Yeah, and look, since we've arrived, it's been like that. So we all knew it was going to be a big one the first day. It was our first season in Division 1 against a side like that. It was always going to be really, really good. And yeah, it didn't disappoint. And I remember the noise from the crowd in the second half, willing the lads over the line, was a strange one certainly after the season we had in Division 2, where I think the fans probably expected 9 times out of 10 us to win the game. That wasn't the case, that one. And they were willing the lads on for a different reason. It was really, really good to see and good to hear.
And then I move on to the 20th of August, the home in the FA Cup. We've already put Pickering Town out, but it's the Ferriby match, a higher level. What a game. Do you remember much about it? 4-1, the final score.
Yeah, it was a good one. Probably about 10 or 15 minutes in, me and Dean looked at each other and Ferriby came out the blocks flying, and we thought we could have been in a bit of bother. And I'll be honest, there was probably a little bit of an incident where Lewis jumped into someone. They've claimed an elbow. Was it not? And I think from that minute, they didn't quite fancy it, and our tails got up, and Big Sheps put a goal in on the swivel that any centre forward would have been proud of, and we went on, and it was probably a surprise victory of the round, but it was thoroughly deserved. And yeah, it was a really good day, that one. But it showed that we could compete at the level, and by the way, they were a top side, and we talked about it probably last week, me and Dean, that they're still flying in their league. So it was a really good game, that one. My
notes for the match had Tom Flynn making 3 important saves to keep us in the game.
Yeah, that's what he's there for. I know it sounds a little bit bad, but he is. That's what he's there for. And there's Greg plays or Tom plays. They do the same job. They're both excellent top goalkeepers. So he probably kept us in it a little bit at times in that game. And the lads at the other end put the ball in the back of the net, especially in a cup game, which we hadn't quite done in the league up until then. So yeah, it was credit to Tom, but also credit to the rest of the lads as usual for getting us over the line.
Shep scored on 30 minutes, but they equalised 9 minutes later. Did you think going into half-time that might be an issue? But it wasn't going to be like that, was it?
I think Tom should have saved it, if I remember rightly. I think he hit it from about 40 yards, and I think it swerved and went through. I could be completely wrong.
That was going back.
And so now it was a good goal. But again, character. We've seen it on, Dean mentioned before, we've seen it on the first game. We've never doubted what's there and what's in the dressing room. And as I say, to beat Ferriby 4-1, who are top side, was a great day.
5th minute of added on time in the first half, ball to the far post, and who's there?
Jordan Watson.
Yes, what a tapping.
It was a tackle, that, I think. No, it was a strange one, wasn't it? Them two had scored in the first half, and 2 that you probably wouldn't expect.
Yes.
Jordan had said it was his first goal for next amount of years, but
yes,
he took it really, really well, to be fair. And yeah, just give that little bounce into half time, which is always nice.
And then we'll move on to the 31st of August, which I think was a key date for Stan, looking back at it all. Pickering Town here, 0-0 at half-time. What were you thinking at half-time?
Who were going to watch on Saturday?
No, it was... that was, I think you're right what you're saying, Brian. I think that was a pivotal moment and a bit of a change, if I'm honest. We knew that was a really important game based on where we were in the table and where Pickering were. In 0-0 at half-time, the first half you probably wouldn't watch back, and then obviously they took the lead, I don't know what minute it was.
50.
50. So we came out hoping that we would come out flying. We didn't. Went 1-0 down. And then I think for the first time since we've been in the job, I turned to Andy and said, I think we're in a bit of bother here. And to be honest, I probably sulking a little bit. And Andy said to us, look, get your head out. Let's go make some changes. Let's just go and attack them. If it is going to be our last game that we're here, let's go out with a bang. We chucked a load of subs on. We won 5-1, and I was a managerial genius, and we've kicked on ever since. But no, it totally happens in football. I think Max Coburn hit one from about 30 yards and nearly smashed the stanchion in half, and it just felt, here we go. We're meant to be at this level. I think Steve scored a little tap in, and Burnsy hit one, and all of a sudden, all these chances that were just got and missed, were just going in. And it's such a confident game that we play, that when they were playing with confidence, you could see a mile off, and Pickering for 20-25 minutes, they just couldn't get close to anybody. And I think the manager left.
Yes, he did. 4 goals in 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And each goal was greeted by a higher note of, get in, lads.
I remember the 5th one going in, and I finally thought, right, I think we've won now. But yeah, like you said, a real turn in the season, and I'd like to think we haven't looked back since.
You were next to bottom, 2 points from 7 games.
Yeah,
You more than doubled your points. Let's move on to the Clitheroe away. Wasn't that a great day out?
I think for the club itself, again, we chat all the time. Me and Dean were talking about it probably last weekend, about because we went back to a replay, we forget how good the away trip was to probably take Eton Stand to a well-established Evo Stick side, and with a real good fan base as well. It was, and the performance that we put in as well was, I think we deserved to win down there on the day, if I'm being honest with you. I think Steve, I fancied a replay and fancied getting some money through the door on the Wednesday, so he passed it to the keeper at the end. But in all seriousness, when you're looking at the big forward who's played for them, who was here at South Shields, and when you're taking Eton Stand to go play teams like that, the manager was at Salford with the old gaffers, the crazy gang. So it was quite a day. Proper ground, proper atmosphere, proper bus journey.
And 2 coaches went.
2 coaches went. The fans.
Did 2 get back?
I think so.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but what a great day for the club, and I think that probably gets lost a tiny little bit.
It does.
Just because of the replay that we had, but that was probably my favourite day of the season.
The replay brought 883 into the ground.
It was a proper game of football, lads. I don't know, it's stupid comparing it to a World Cup final, of course it is, but I got the same. I watched that World Cup final on Sunday and at full time. I thought, what a proper game of football that was. And it was exactly the same as the Clitheroe one. It's strange. I know Andy mentioned Billy Priestley, who the manager is. He's played league football, Salford, this, that, and the other. He's obviously the gaffer there. I remember we stood outside here for 10-15 minutes after the game chatting to him. And I think the first thing he said was, what a game, like what a real game that was. And it was, I mean, tons of yellow cards. I mean, it wasn't a dirty game, but it just adds to it. There was yellows, there was reds, there was lashing down rain, there was posts being hit. That, if I'm honest, we've had some unbelievable nights at this ground, and we've had some unbelievable days at this ground already. Touchwood, we're going to have a lot more, but I would probably put that up there with the very, very best that we've had, certainly since we arrived at the club.
And strangely, from the high of that Vars, FA Cup game, the Vars, what a disappointment. Eh?
I wasn't there. I was banned, wasn't I?
Oh.
So,
My turn.
so you can talk about that one.
Nothing to do with it.
I can give you his breakdown, but
I'll be honest as well, we mentioned it before about Ferriby. Them as well. I mean, I think they've dropped about 5 points all season. They're flying. And no disrespect to them, honestly, we don't. We win with a lot of respect, and we lose the same way. I mean, they were nowhere near as good as Ferriby. They certainly weren't anywhere near as good as Clitheroe. But football's not played that way. And we learned that day that if we're not on it, teams can beat you, unfortunately.
They had a very good young keeper, didn't they?
Yeah, and he made a couple of good saves at 1-0, didn't he? But they played the game really, really well. Once we went 1-0 up, it was everything was being delayed, throw-ins, free kicks, corners, everything just took an age. It felt like. Would we beat them now on the run that we're on? I would fancy us. However, that's not how football works, and I think the most frustrating part about that whole game is I look back at it as a bit of a missed opportunity, really.
Yes.
Not the fact that we're out the Vars, it's always a bit disappointing, but yeah, I think I think playing them at home, I think was a real opportunity to win that game.
And from the low of that weekend, 5 successive wins on the trot. I'll just call them out. Use Benfield away, 4-1. Northallerton away, 5-0. West Allotment at home, 4-2. Towlow away, 2-1. And Ashington away, 1-0. What have you to say about that? Confidence must have been sky high at the end of that.
It was good to be back in the dugout with team, to be fair. It was 4-1 against Allotment as well, just for the records there. But I think probably the Benfield game again. We will not go totally into it. It wasn't the greatest of run-ups on the day of the game, and there was people in, there was people out, there were people injured. It was a tough day. And we ended up at about 4 o'clock to saying, let's go have a go at them and sort of see what happens. We're good enough to go there and do what we did, and we went and did what we did at the end of the day. And it's probably, was it the Turnham result that we say the Picker won, but the Benfield won, a very well established side, a derby, and I think people sat up and thought, Eatonstown are here. They're a team to be reckoned with, and we're not just here to make the numbers up. We're here to just do the best we can. But that was probably the start. Northallerton afterwards, we just hit the ground running after that, didn't we?
And then again, it's strange how the curve, Whitley Bay at home, we should have won, we deserved to win, but 2 very late goals took the points away.
Yeah, disappointing that one. I think that one's the one that certainly sticks out over the last 10 weeks, let's say, of the one that maybe's got away. Nicky was, like Nicky always is, very, very honest. He come in here, shook my hand and said, we've robbed it a little bit. But hey, that's what the teams at the top do, and if you're not on it, unfortunately, for 95 minutes, they will beat you. You seen it last night with Rangers. If you switch off and against good sides, unfortunately, they will punish you, whether that's in minute 1 or minute 91. So, a bit of a learning curve for our lads, a bit of a one that it hurt. Our lads were devastated at the end. We were, as a staff as well. But, again, a bit of a pinch yourself moment of these. I think we've only lost 1 game until we played them
against
Bishops. We've just competed. We've just arguably should have won the game in front of a great crowd.
Yes.
And again, it's a kind of a, this is our level, this is where we need to be, this is the level that we want to aspire to be at, week in, week out, week in, week out. I think it was a little bit of a lack of discipline. I know we went down to 10 men again. Richie got sin-binned and all that rubbish, and ended the game with 9, which isn't fantastic. But yeah, I certainly took more positives and negatives in defeat, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So we finished 8th at the moment. We're 8th in the league. Home record's not too good. We've played 10 at home and 10 away. Home record 1-2, drawn 2, lost 6, scored 14, conceded 18. But away from home, 1-8, drawn 1, lost 1. Can you remember who you lost to?
Crook.
Did you deserve to lose that night?
Yes, the worst game. It was in the garden, you draw the curtains, it was terrible, wasn't it?
That was really, really poor game. By both sides.
It was absolutely rubbish.
Do you play better away? Is the system better?
No?
I just think we've played with that. I think a lot of them home defeats were in that first batch of the season. I think we played a lot of home games at the start. And that's no excuse at all, but we just couldn't play. And like Andy said, I think that Benfield away game, be interesting to see how the away games have happened since then, because I just felt something click that day, and I felt something amongst the lads felt like we can't come to grounds like this and we can't compete and we can go and win the game. Maybe it was me at Crook. Did us set us up a little bit defensively? Did we give them a little bit too much respect going to a side like Crook, thinking, can we stay in the game? Instead of that, we went to Benfield, Northallerton, Ashington, most recently Redcar, blue teams away. So yeah, in hindsight, looking back, it's a great thing. Could we have set up differently at Crook? Probably. But yeah, away form is second to none.
You rebuilt Heaton Stannington for last season, and you had that to do again this year, and I've counted the numbers. 16 players and 13 are still with us to change the side.
Yeah, it obviously happened when we first came in last year. Obviously we had huge success from it. We knew about February, March time, we sat down, me and Andy, and went through kind of, if we go up, if we don't go up, what we're going to look like. And we quickly realised that there was a lot of lads who were coming to the end of, they're going to stop playing, or going to move elsewhere, or whatever it was. And we all realised that we're going to have a busy summer, regardless of what league we're in. So when we won promotion, of course it was a fantastic thing, but it was even more important that we got the recruitment right. We knew that there was probably going to be a lot of incomings. It was important that we got first division players into the squad ASAP, which we've done. Both summers have been rebuild jobs. Both summers have been on the phone morning, afternoon and night, making sure that we're covered in every position, that we've got quality all over, that we're recruiting the right player, but we're recruiting the right person as well, because since minute one, and we've got no bad eggs in the squad, there's no bad lads there at all. It's a very, very close-knit group, and we ensure that anyone that we are looking to bring in adds to that. And yeah, it's been a big job again, but again, here I would like to think so. This for a successful one and an enjoyable one, because you're working with good lads, you're working with good players as well, and bringing them lads in and seeing them kind of develop and add to the squad's a great thing.
I just want to give you some stats here that will mind blow you. Really, last season, 20 home league games, average gate was 319. This season, 10 home games, average gate 490. There is no club in the first division that's got a higher increase than Heaton Stannington. I've gone through the figures. Ashington are about 70 up. That's remarkable.
And like I said before, it's been certainly since we came in. Look, every fan likes winning football matches. You'll see it Newcastle United now. There's 52,000 there week in, week out now, because football fans like watching football teams win football matches. But you've got to do it a certain way. We like to think we do it a certain way. The fans have came win, lose or draw. The fans have came sunshine or rain. Rings a bell that the Cliff Road one, where it was 800 odd, was probably the wettest, coldest night we've had, but there was still nearly 1,000 people through the door.
I'm talking league games.
League games, right, okay. So, yeah, both league and cup games, you've had an amazing amount of people through the door. The back us win, lose or draw. And yeah, they deserve success both on the field and off the field, and I'd like to think we've delivered that so far.
Yeah, I just wanted to explain that I wanted to be able to compare like with like, because Ashington, if they had all their cup games, they've had massive four-figure sums. But league games, it's the same system, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're all playing the same teams. Let's move on to the things that are more at your heart. The best match of the season, Andy.
Cliff Row away. I said it before. I just think the whole day, the bus journey, the fans going down, the ground, the team you're playing, the players you played against, the performance that was put in, it was just the best game of the season. I know it was a draw, but I just everything about it. As I say, the league's a league, but something special when you go play away days in the cup, and that was a really good day, and we're really close to nicking it, to be honest with you. But yeah, that'll stick for me, that one.
The pies were great as well, weren't they?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't have one. Yes, the food was good there. No, it was a proper setup, wasn't it? Cliff Row. It was the bars. You've got the radio upstairs and things like it. It was a really good setup, and you just felt. And I think the players rose to it as well. They just thought it was a proper ground, a proper occasion, and everything about it, including the food, was great.
Yeah. Dean, I hope you haven't chosen the same game.
So many to pick.
Yes.
Different reasons, of course, but the one that sticks out in my mind as the one is probably the Pickering at home game. I think for the reasons we said before, a bit of a monkey on the back of hadn't won a game yet, and that just felt the build-up to the afternoon of it and everything leading up to the game was, we absolutely have to win this game. It doesn't matter if it's a 99th minute winner or I don't care, to be honest. And I think as well what sticks out is the emotion of going from where we were after 50 minutes to where we were after 90, which again is what football's all about, of course it is. After 50 minutes, although I had our fans trying to scream the ball into the net, that's probably the lowest I've felt since taking over, which is strange, certainly in the first division. But the difference within 40 minutes is massive. Goals change games. And what we've seen is goals change seasons as well, and that them 5 goals, that 4-11 or whatever it was before, that blitz of goals that we had has just changed the season remarkably well.
Yes, and bringing Conor Lamb in has brought a difference up front,
yeah,
hasn't
100%. And I've known Conor for years. I've worked with Conor in the past, and he's a real good kid who, if you play to his strengths, he will score endless amounts of goals. I think we do. I think he really benefits from the way we play. He really benefits from the lads around him. And it was always going to be a case. I remember we played Thornaby here, and he missed a chance at the back post with his left foot, and really beat himself up over it. And I said to him, look, like, that will happen. It does as a centre forward, but things will change. And remarkably so, his numbers already speak for themselves. And he's had a real good season.
And finally, lad, I want you to choose the 3 best goals of this so far season.
In 3-2-1 order.
It doesn't matter about order, but I don't want you to put them... No, we're not trying to say which is the best. Just 3 that deserve to be the 3 best goals.
I would say Max Coburn against Pickering.
I've got a joint one,
Go on.
but they're identical for the same reasons. Ashton away, Conor Lamb.
Yes.
Redcar away, Conor Lamb.
Why? Say something about those goals.
I don't go to too much on here about how we play, but we've gone from one end of the pitch to the other in 8 or 9 seconds and scored.
Yes.
And that's what we're about: pace, power, quality,
Precision.
exactly that. And I think both of those goals just absolutely just tore teams. Just you got no words for it.
What I found wonderful about the goal at Ashington was Slaughter's ball, because Connell Stevenson and Lamb crossed like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, which way is he playing it?
That's the thing. The goal that we scored, it's easy to watch it and think, he saved the penalty, they've broke, bang, 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 it's a goal. The amount of quality in there is good, and it's harder to deliver that quality against the better sides. And it sounds stupid to say because you're on the same pitch, on the same size, with the same ball, or whatever. But against the good sides, good players will deliver their moments for you. And Richie Slaughter's crossing the halfway line. He plays a fantastic ball through with Steve, who made a great run. And if you want someone in that area to pick a pass across the box, it will be Dan Stevenson. And he's played a great ball over, and the form Conor Lamb was in. Well, could have shut his eyes and put it and scored. So yeah, it was a real good one. And like Andy says, it epitomises the way we've played over the last X amount of weeks, in that we're dangerous when they've got the ball now. And we weren't at the start, but teams are attacking us. Redcar, that Conor Lamb goal that Andy said before, that come from their corner. So they put a corner in, it come back out. He's put another ball in, it's come back out. He's put another ball in, and then the 3 touched it in the net. And that's ultimately what we're doing to teams, and good sides as well. So yeah, 2 good goals. Like I say, Max is Pickering against Pickering was good. Scott Bambra's against Benfield, I think Scott we mentioned, and he only scores a 40-yard volley. I think just technically, I mean, I've worked with Scott for years as well, and technically miles and miles ahead of a lot of people I've ever coached, managed, played with. So I know it sounds really strange because he volleyed it from 50 yards, but it didn't actually surprise us when it went in. It was one of them players that had bounced up and I thought, he'll score this. I remember watching the video and the ball's about 100 foot in the end. Louis Anderson's peeling off, and I'm thinking, how does he know where this ball's going? But it went in, and it was a really, really good goal. So that certainly stands out for me. That one, Max's against Pickering, and I think Burnsy away at Clitheroe. And not just for the occasion, because the occasion was huge, and we were 1-0 down with 20 minutes to go, and we needed a bit of brilliance. It's a really good goal if you watch it before. When you watch it back, it's a great ball through, and Burnsy's ability just to lift it over the goalkeeper, who, by the way, made some good saves. Yeah, they'd be my 3.
Well, let me say, I was at Northallerton, and Nick Cassidy's, I put in my notes 35, but when I watched it on the camera, that's gone across the width of the park. That must be 50-yard ball.
Yeah.
And it wasn't wild, it was straight to Hornsby's run through. A couple of touches, cutting inside, and he lashed it into the bottom corner.
I think we've probably forgot about that one, haven't we?
And I remember talking to him after the game and said, we haven't seen that from your armoury. And he went by red.
We see him trained every week, Jay, because he likes to shoot all the time.
All right.
And then he gets wrong for shooting because he always kicks over the bar. So he's he should probably, I mean, for how much he gets forward, probably special mention to Jay, actually, because he's came into the side over the last probably 15 games, and he hasn't put a foot wrong, and he's been excellent, to be fair. He probably should get more goals and assists for how often he gets forward. Yes. Just sort of turn a positive into a really bad negative for him. But yeah, like I say, he's been, again, like last year, certainly one of the shining stars of the way we play. The fans obviously love him for the way he plays, and look, he runs through a brick wall, win, lose or draw, and that's all we ever ask of them.
Yeah. We should mention Jordan Lashley. He's scored a few goals, but he's second at RCA.
Yeah, he had a good day at RCA, didn't he? He's been a bit unlucky, if I'm honest, Jordan, and he's never let me down when he comes on or he starts games. He's devastating the way he can just walk past players. His goal against Whitley Bay here, to be fair, was something else. And yet RCA away, he stepped up when the lads needed him, 100%. And ultimately, I know he said it before with the goalkeepers, but that's what they're in the team to do. Yes. And they're in the team to score the goals, they're in the team to assist goals and to terrorise full-backs, and that's certainly what Lash done over at RCA.
That's brilliant, lads. Thanks for the review.
Thank you.